Hey, I'm curious. Have you noticed that the things that used to work don't just work the same way anymore? Not in a big way, but just quietly. You are training, you're eating, you're trying to stay consistent, and something just feels off. The results are slower than they should be. The recovery takes longer than it used to. The energy is not quite there, even when the sleep is fine. And the most common conclusion is, this must be what getting older feels like. It is not. What you are experiencing is not decline. It is a signal. And in this video, I'm going to show you 4 specific things that genuinely shift after 35, not because of age, but because of the seasons that you're in and what your body is actually asking for that it has not been getting. And let me ask you this. When things stop working, when you are putting in the real effort and your body is not responding the way that it should, what story do you tell about yourself? Most women arrive at the same conclusion. I must be doing something wrong. I need to try harder. Maybe my body just does not respond to the way it should. What if none of this is true? What if your body is actually responding perfectly just to a life that looks completely different from the one the approach was designed for? The version of you at 25 had a different stress load, different demands, different amount of time, energy, and capacity available. The approach built for that version of your life worked because they match the condition. The conditions have changed. The approach has not. And that mismatch, not about your discipline, not about your age, not some fundamental problem with your body, is almost always what is underneath that frustration. When your body holds on despite the effort, when the results do not come, when the exhaustion does not go away, that is not failure. That is your body doing its job. The question is whether the job it has been given actually matches the life that you are living. Hi, I'm Thien. I help high-achieving women build strength and energy that fits the season that they are actually in, not the one they have already outgrown. Over a decade and thousands of hours invested navigating this transition myself, studying what actually produces results for women carrying this kind of load, I found the same thing every time. The frustration is almost never from not trying hard enough. It is from applying an approach that was built for completely different seasons of life. Here is what actually happening. Almost everything in health and fitness world was built around a simpler version of your life. Fewer responsibilities, lower stress, and more margin for recovery and more time. The version where you could train hard, eat well, and sleep well, and the body responded accordingly. That is not the version of your life that you are living now. You are carrying a team, a household, a business, decisions that do not stop when you leave the office. Your body is running everything. The work, the relationships, the mental load of holding it all together. And when you add hard training on top of a system that is already stretched, the body does not get stronger. It protects itself. It conserves. It holds on. The work is real. What is not right is the direction. Your body is responding exactly the way it should when it is carrying more than the approach was ever built to account for. The approach has not changed to match where you actually are. And until it does, the effort keeps producing less than it should. More effort in the wrong direction does not close the gap. It widens it. Think about the difference between a sprinter and someone who trains to stay strong and capable for life. The sprinter trains for race day. Every decision points to that one moment, Once the race is done, the version of training is done with it. You are not training for a race. You are training for a purpose that outlasts any single goal. And the goal still exists. But they are in service of something bigger. Something strong enough to carry your life. Having the energy to show up fully for decades. And as you begin to think about what that bigger purpose actually is for you, most of what you have been handed starts to look like the wrong tool for the job. You need an approach built for the season that you're actually in, not the one that you were in a decade ago. 4 things have shifted in these seasons, and most approaches do not account for a single one of them. Number 1, you have outgrown the motivation that got you here. Think about why you first started caring about your health. For most women, if they are honest, a significant part of it was about how they look, about proving something. That makes complete sense at that season, and you are building an identity. Proving grounds matter, but something shifts after 35. The proving work is largely done, and the motivation built on it to perform, to complete, to show up, to be seen, starts to feel empty. You sign up for a challenge and feel nothing. You hit a goal and immediately wonder what the point was. The flatness is not laziness. It is your motivation asking for something bigger than what you have been giving it. And most programs never ask that question. What are you actually building towards now? The old motivation did its job. The question is what comes after it. Number 2, your recovery is not what it used to be. And that reasons matter. Most women notice this one clearly. The bounce back that used to happen in a day now takes 3. The hard week bleeds into the next one. The workout that should have energized you left you needing the rest of the day to recover. So the conclusion that most women draw is that their body is getting older. But here is what is actually true. Your recovery is slower not because of your age. It is slower because your total stress load is higher and your body is using the same resource to run your work, your relationships, your household, and your training. There is no separate reserve for each. It all comes from the same place. So at 25, there are more in reserve because the demands are lower. Now the demands have multiplied and the reserve have not grown with them. Hard training on already stretched system does not build capacity. It competes with everything else your body is already trying to manage. So your recovery has not declined. Your demands have grown. And that distinction changes everything about how to address it. Change number 3. You have been training for the wrong result. Most fitness content aimed at women is built around one goal. Look leaner, look tighter. Get back to how you looked before. So you follow the programs built for that. Or copy what someone on social media is doing because you like how they look, without knowing what their life cost, how many hours they spend recovering, whether any of it is sustainable for a woman running a business and a family. And the results do not come. Or they come briefly and then reverse. Or they come with exhaustion attached. Here is what nobody says clearly enough. Training primarily for aesthetics is a different sport. A bodybuilder prepares to stand on the stage for a few minutes. That preparation, the restriction, the extreme training load is optimized for that one event. Not for running a business, not for leading a team, not for being present at the end of a full day. Low energy, brain fog, constant hunger. That is what that level of aesthetic focus can cost. It is a very different sport, designed for a very different goal. And most women have been training for it without ever being told that is what they were handed. What actually serves for your life is what your body can do. Strength that compounds year on year. Energy that does not crash by mid-afternoon. The physical capacity to keep showing up fully for decades. What I have seen consistently, and this is what surprised women most, is that when the focus shifts from aesthetics to strength and function, the body starts to change. Not because aesthetic become the goal, but because the body is finally given what it actually responds to. And so the results follow. The physics follow. But they follow from the right work, not from the wrong pressure. Stop training for the wrong sports. The body that you want is a result of the right work, not from pressure. Hey, listen, I appreciate you. And if you're watching this and something I've shared is resonating with you, I want to ask you to do 2 simple things. First, hit the like button because it tells YouTube that this conversation matters, so it can reach more women who feel stuck in their body, their energy, and their consistency and think that they are the problem. And second, subscribe, because on this channel, I'm going to talk about things that most people don't explain clearly. How to build strength without burning yourself out. How to lead your body instead of fighting it. And how to stop relying on willpower and start creating consistency that actually lasts, and how energy, identity, physiology quietly shape the life that you're living. So if you are someone who's tired of trying harder and ready to understand your body and yourself differently, then this channel is for you. So go ahead, like and subscribe. And now back to the video. Number 4, short windows are no longer enough to hold you. How long is the furthest ahead you plan for your body? For most women, the honest answer is the next 6 to 12 weeks. Maybe a challenge, a program, an endpoint that promises arrival somewhere. But when that window closes, there is no story to step into next. So you drift, and eventually you start again. Something shifts after 35 in how time feels. You start thinking further ahead. What you want your body to be able to do at 55, at 65 and beyond. You start feeling that the decision that you make now genuinely shape what is available later. That this is not just fitness. It is performance by design. Most women have never been helped to ask that question. And without it, every approach eventually becomes another thing that did not stick. Not because it had nowhere to go. A 6-week result is not the goal. A body that carries the next decade of your life is. None of these 4 things are fixed by finding a better program or trying harder. The problem in each case is not the effort. It is that your body has sat with you and helped you see what your specific season actually requires. Every time you try to push harder inside an approach that was not built for your season, you are not building momentum. You are confirming a story about yourself that was never true. The women I work with who finally made the shift are not the ones who found better information. They are not the ones who stopped trying to navigate this alone and finally had someone help them understand what their body was actually asking for. So which of those 4 things has your body been asking for? That the approach that you have been following never gave it. Think about this for a while and drop your answer in the comment. I'll be reading every single one. And if this landed, if you recognize your season in any of those 4 changes, I would love to invite you to my Peak Performance Challenge. 3 days where we look at your seasons specifically, what your body has actually been carrying, what the mismatch has been, what an approach built for where you actually are looks like, and not in general, but for you specifically. This is not more information to apply on your own. This is where your season finally gets seen clearly and worked with properly. The link is in the description. I would love to see you inside. And you are not lagging behind. You are just in a season that most programs were never designed for. I appreciate you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. And feel free to check out these 2 videos.